In this video, I'm going to show you where to position yourself on the football field when taking sports photographs. So for those of you that are new to the channel, my name's Jenna, and on this channel we cover all things sports photography. So today I have a highly requested video for you guys, and that is where to position yourself on the football field when taking sports photographs. So I thought the easiest way to do this would be to show you a full-size frame of an image that I took at UNC of their football field and kind of walk you through where I stand and the positions I put myself in depending on the place.
So we're going to use this photo for how to best position yourself on the football field to get the best photographs. I thought we'd start out with where you can and can't shoot from. So I'm going to illustrate here in red the areas that are off limits. So at Carolina, this is where the home team is at. And this is where the away team is. So those two areas are off limits for photographers. The entire field is off limits. So unless you're shooting before the game starts, like if they make an entrance, which Carolina does, they come out this way here, or if it's after the game, once the clock is expired and the coaches are making their way to, this is off limits. So behind the bench area, this is off limits. You are able to pass through there to each side of the field, but you cannot stop here and make photographs, and that goes for college and the NFL. So I'm not saying that people don't do it, I'm just saying that it's something that you are not supposed to do. Now, depending on which stadium you're on, there may be a little bit of, give there, but at Carolina, at the Carolina Panthers, at most stadiums that I've shot at for college and pro football, you cannot stand behind the bench and take photographs unless you are a team photographer. And just as a side note, not everything that I'm talking about today is the same for a team photographer, but in general, these are the limitations. Now, it's important to keep in mind that this does not translate to high school football completely. So as you can see here with college athletics, this is the cutoff. With the NFL, the cutoff is over here. In high school, you can pretty much roam this entire team area, assuming that they know who you are. Now, a lot of times in high school, you'll have a track area back here, so it's very inconvenient to come all the way, especially because most high school cheerleaders are there, to come all the way around. So you can generally move in this area where the team is, but I don't know if that's just at the high schools that I shoot at or if that's in general. So it's probably best to find some photographers that shoot there frequently and get that information before the game starts. Another area that's off limits are, if you can see these lines right here, they cover the entire field. You can see, I'll just draw really quickly. Those lines kind of let you know where you're allowed to be. You need to be behind those lines when you're shooting, and depending on whether you're shooting college or NFL, depends on which lines you have to stand on. Just a general rule of thumb that if you are standing on this first line, you need to be kneeling so that the people that are behind you have that line of sight as well. So most of the time, if you're on this back line, you can stand, but if you're on the front line, you need to be kneeling. So I've shot across several different stadiums, NFL, college, you name it, and there is not a consistent rule for whether or not you can stand on this line. The next thing is deciding which side I'm going to stand on the field. And what I mean when I'm saying that is, am I standing on this side or am I standing on this side? And how I make that decision is based off of a few factors. The first thing I think about is which side is the sun coming from. I've shot at Carolina enough times to know that if it's a night game, it doesn't really matter. But if it's a game happening before sunset then the lighting will be coming from this direction. So the sun is over here, and it's going to be shining down on the field this way. Now again, if it's overcast, rainy, snowing, and you don't really have to think about this, skip to the next step. But if it's bright and sunny, like it is for much of the football season here in North Carolina, then this is one of the things that I take into consideration. So the next thing I think about is what hand my quarterback throws with. So while I prefer with lighting to be on this side of the field, if my QB is here, but he's moving this way down the field and he throws with his left hand, then all I'm going to get if I'm on this side of the field is his back. So in that case, I would need to position myself on this side of the field. Now, of course, if he's coming the other way, here, I can position myself on the side with the lighting that I like, because he throws with his left arm, he's going to be facing me here. So just something to keep in mind, that while lighting is important, if you can't make images because you're on the wrong side of the field, that doesn't really work. All right, so now that we've talked about where you're allowed to go and what are some of the things that I use to determine which side of the field to stand on, let's talk about positioning. We're going to use this side since we can see the numbers better. If my QB is here on the 20 and he is right-handed, so he's going to be throwing it facing this way, what I'm going to do is position myself down here on the 15 so that I can stay behind the action. That allows you to get handoffs. It allows you to get an open position quarterback with his face and body towards you, because most quarterbacks are not going to throw it across their body, at least not very often. And it also allows you, as the defense is coming in, to get that interaction as well. Our 50-yard line is about right here. Once the team, let's say they're traveling this way, once the team gets past that 50-yard line right here, so if I'm down here shooting, I'm going to move myself around here and get in front of the action. And what that allows me to do is, as they're moving down the field this way or that way, I'm now in front of the action instead of behind it. With this limitation right here, you really can only stay behind the action for so long before you get into trouble, because you've got this entire team bench right here coming out to look at the plays, and now you're blocked by this entire crowd. So we've talked about being behind the line of scrimmage so that you can get that quarterback open space. We've talked about how once they cross the 50-yard line, how important it is to be in front of the action. The last thing that we're going to talk about is once they are past, I usually go about the 25, somewhere between the 25 and the 20. I start to move myself down to this space or this space. The reason for that being is you start to see the quarterbacks try these little trick running, or maybe they'll throw into a corner here or tight end to here. There are lots of different options for a scoring play once you've gotten inside that 25, 20-yard line. So I tend to move myself to the corner. Now, a lot of people will move to the end zones, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I like to position myself in this area until they get definitively to the 10. And the reason for that being is I'm able to still get whatever happens here if they don't score. I'm able to get this if they go for the corner for a throw. I'm able to get a run play here. And I'm able to, if they do score, get this celebration as they are coming back towards their bench. Once you get to the end zone, I stop thinking about lighting. I stop thinking about what hand the quarterback throws with. And I just start thinking about what happens if they score or what happens if they celebrate. So hopefully that made sense to you guys. There's a lot of things to think about with each scenario. There's definitely a luck factor to football. Anything can happen at any given moment. So what you're doing with these scenarios is trying to put yourself in the best position with the highest probability that if the play is coming towards you, you can make a great image. You can't account for every single thing that could happen, but you can definitely try to put yourself in the best position to take advantage of a play when it does come in your direction.
So I hope you guys have gotten some value out of this video. If so, give me a thumbs up and leave me a comment below. Let me know some of the other topics that you would like me to cover. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. All right, we'll see you guys on the next video.